Hey guys, G&T here, and today I bring you the news that Gundam Evolution is ending.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Let's talk about it a little bit here. So, anywho, I was on Twitter, right? Yes, Twitter, the best place to be. It's totally fun. Anywho, I was on Twitter and I saw Gundam Evolution, the page posted that there was an important announcement. I was like, oh, flip, they're gonna shut it down. And I clicked on it, they were like, we're shutting down. I was like, oh, flip. I was half joking, but it was true. It was all true. They say they are ending their services on November the 29th. Man, they should have ended it on freaking December the 25th. Been like,
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.
oh, flip, it is crazy. To be honest with you, though, I didn't expect the game to last as long as it did, because I was constantly seeing people fall off of it. And if you like seeing my streams on the other channel, I play that game quite often. And I run into the same people a lot. Like, there's not a ton of people playing that game. Sometimes you can't even pick up a match properly. It's crazy. But yeah, there's this. I'm sure there are a lot of factors that led to this, but I'm sure the biggest factor for them was probably money. Like, with a low amount of players and probably an even lower amount of people willing to spend money in a game like that, of course it was going to be shut down. You know, that's why I said I kind of expected it to be shut down sooner, because I wasn't seeing people like going crazy in this game or going crazy spending money in it. Like, yeah, you get the new unit once a season, but oh man, it's not anything that's gonna be having people spend crazy dough, especially when the units aren't necessarily like the best ever. But we'll get to that in a second. Anywho, basically, they had the announcement, and when you click the link, it sends you to the website where it says, thank you all for your continued support. This is Kazuya Maruyama, the executive producer for Gundam Evolution. It is with great sadness that we are announcing the conclusion of Gundam Evolution. And then they say how it's going to end on November 29th and blah, 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 about how they wanted to create a game that brought FPS fans and Gundam fans together. And it's like, I don't know. It didn't. Maybe somebody there was trying to do that. It didn't really seem like it. It seemed like they were just trying to cash in on something that is kind of already dead and or dying. You know, like the hero shooter thing was hot a few years ago. They hopped into that way too late. Now it's kind of a niche, and Gundam is also a niche, so you double niched. So it's like, you know, this is kind of what you expect to happen. Like, while people, for the most part, don't seem to really like Overwatch 2 like that, it still exists. So somebody's playing it. And then me, as far as that type of game, I would rather play Paladins. I like Paladins. But Gundam Evolution was out, and I like Gundam, so I switched from Paladins to this. And while it can be fun, there's just not a lot of variety to it. And, you know, some people be like, oh, well, all these different suits, but when you look at the suits, it kind of reminds me of what was that, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? One of the people who was working on that, when they were talking about it, and they said that you know, the characters were functions. When people were like, where are the X-Men? They said we have characters that function the same way. That's kind of how I feel about this game. A lot of the suits kind of function real similar. And when you have similar functions, people are just going to pick the one that they either best fit or the one that is the best. It's one or the other. They're not going to switch around. They're not going to spend money on the new suits. Here's an example. Heavy Arms came out. I like Heavy Arms. Wing is like one of my favorite Gundam series. I didn't spend money on Heavy Arms. I had a gun tank. I was like, gun tank's fine. Heavy Arms looks like it plays pretty similar to the gun tank. Now it is slightly different, you know. Instead of having the tackle, it has a flip to get you out of dodge and stuff and get you to high ledges and all this junk. But mostly it looks the same. And that's another problem that you have with games like this. Because you're not usually seeing the mobile suit you're in, you're worried about the function. And when the functions look the same, why would you go out of your way to spend money to get the newer one? And you know, people could say, oh, this one's better all you want, but man, I've never gotten an MVP with that Heavy Arms, which by the way, I unlocked it like a couple of days ago. With the in-game currency, I finally got enough of it to get a new suit. And I've played with the Heavy Arms. I've never gotten MVP, but with that gun tank, I've gotten MVP like 10 times. You know, so it's just oh man, it just feels like they were missing the mark on so many things. And the monetization was freaking horrible. Like, if you look at it, the different colors you can get and stuff, which they were selling, the different freaking emotes and junk, the stamps, that stamps. Oh, most of it was absolute garbage. Stuff that wouldn't make people want to open up their wallets, you know? I mean, you have a guy like me who's not going to spend much on your stuff anyway, because I don't do that. My rule for free-to-play games is I will spend as much as a full-price game for your game. Once I've hit that mark of money, I don't spend anymore. That's why the initial first suits that came out I got, but by the time it hit like Heavy Arms, I wasn't spending anymore. It's like, nah, not giving you any more dough. Flip. I'm trying to think, was it? No, yes, it was the Heavy Arms where I stopped. Because I didn't get Heavy Arms. I didn't get, was it Dynamez, I think? And the Susanoo, I didn't get those three. But, sorry, getting a little rambly here. See, I don't write down what I'm saying for YouTube videos. You know, I just go off the head. There was a dirty joke in there. But anywho, it is ending. And they were talking about like they were what's the term? Disappointing the people, like the people weren't satisfied or some junk like that they were saying. It's like, no, it's not even that. Because the people who were playing just kept playing. The thing is, you couldn't bring in new people. And part of that is because of your roster. Like if I could pull this up, son of a gun. Yeah, here we go. Let me just get this together for myself. You guys probably won't see it unless I remember to put it in there. Not that great at editing. But you had a roster of Gundams that Gundam fans know. I mean, not all Gundams, of course, but they were mobile suits that most Gundam fans will know. But for your average person, they don't know anything about a lot of these. And they're not the most exciting looking things, you know? You have the original Gundam, which is of course necessary in anything that you're doing freaking Gundam crossovers in. You have to have the original Gundam. But then they had the Pale Rider, which most people don't know the Pale Rider, like a lot of this stuff works for Gundam fans. But if you're talking about you're trying to bring together the people that play FPS games and Gundam fans, you're gonna need something more interesting looking than Pale Rider. Because I like Pale Rider. Like, I got introduced to the Pale Rider in the freaking Versus series, and I liked it. I also played around with it in Battle Operation. But for the average person, they don't know anything about it, and it just looks like a freaking basic mobile suit, but in blue. You know, it's doesn't look all that special. It's not getting anybody excited. The freaking Methus is not getting anybody excited. You know, it's like, oh, I remember that suit. But the average person doesn't see that and think, oh, that looks sick. But guess what? If they would have started off with like a Wing Gundam, even the people who don't know anything about Gundam recognize Wing Gundam because Wing was so big. People are like, oh, flip, I've seen that before. You got to get stuff like that. You know, it's just, oh, they're like, we're going to put in the Zaku 2. It's like, cool, we get it. Zaku 2 should be there. And then they're like, we're putting in a Zaku 2 that's melee based. It's like, what? You got to start looking for some stuff that's going to bring people in. They didn't take advantage of opportunities and stuff. Like, was that witch from Mercury? I didn't like it, and I don't care about it, but it was a new Gundam series that ran during the time this game was out. They should have thrown the main unit from that in here. Instead they threw in some portraits, icons, some stamps, you know, but no actual unit from the series. And it's like, why? You know, it's not good. That's the best way I can put it. It's just not good. Like, you're bringing out freaking Susanoo, and maybe they had all these already pre-planned and kind of built already. I don't personally think so, but if we're giving them like the benefit of the doubt, maybe they already had this roadmap of what units they were going to use, and they didn't think that series would get popular at all or pop off at all, so they didn't plan for it. But man, at some point you should just say, you know what, we're just gonna put a hold on what we were doing and throw this in here, try and get some of this money we spent back. But that is not how it went. It's like when they said they were bringing out something from Endless Waltz. I was like, oh, Endless Waltz, huh? Well, the obvious choice would be Zero Custom, right? That's something that a lot of people have seen, think it looks dope. And they're like, no, we're bringing the Heavy Arms Custom. And I was like, yeah, the Heavy Arms is cool and all, but it's not anything that's gonna like just really excite people. Like a lot of people that have seen me play this game and stuff, they didn't know what freaking Heavy Arms was. It was like, what? You don't know about the Heavy Arms? It's like, no. And then you show them like the original Heavy Arms color, and they're like, oh, that Gundam. It's like, yes, of course you don't know the Heavy Arms Custom freaking colors. Nobody does, except for people that were into Wing. And that's mostly the problem with the roster. Flip, I've went on about this for way too long. But let's just go on the list here. We got the Pale Rider. And Pale Rider is your basic FPS character. It's your basic Call of Duty grunt. You know? It's what's the freaking soldier from Overwatch? It's that guy. And then you have Gundam, and then you have the Zaku 2, and then freaking Barbatos, the freaking bane of everybody's existence. ugh. And here's the thing. I like the Barbatos, right? But my favorite version of it is the Lupus Rex, because that thing is freaking beastly. That's not the version they put in this game. You know? It's... Anyway, Sazabi, freaking the Mythos, the Gem Sniper 2, which, of course, they threw that in here, which I said when the game first came out, they should have found a Gundam that could snipe, which they did later when they put in the Dynamez, but it's way too late for that now. Like, here's the thing. The whole first set of characters should have all been Gundams. Every single one should have been a Gundam, and a popular Gundam at that. It shouldn't have just been you making suits that kind of just fit what you're doing. You're trying to get a free-to-play game to pop off. It's got to look real cool. Also, there weren't a lot of maps. You know, it's kind of like freaking Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite was fun when it came out, right? And then everybody got sick of playing the same maps and moved on. So this game had not only that problem, but it's based on Gundam, and there weren't a ton of Gundams. Like, out of the starting roster, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Was it only 4 Gundams when that game first came out? Yeah. No, actually, because you had to unlock. Yeah, Exia was locked, if I'm not mistaken. So if you were just hopping in the game before unlocking anything, you had a total of like 3 Gundams you could use. Because I think it started with 12 characters. You had 3 actual Gundams. And then the others were Exia was unlockable. And I think Unicorn, was Unicorn the base game but unlockable, or was that like the first extra character? But my point is, out of all the units, you didn't have a lot of Gundams. And it's like, dude, you gotta understand. And the people who like the freaking extra grunt suits and stuff, all the side suits, all the villain suits and stuff, it's cool that you like that stuff. But if they're trying to get a game to pop off, everything's got to be sick right from the start. Everything's got to look dope. Everything's got to be awesome. Because here's what happened with me. Personal story here. Like, when I started, the first thing I picked was the Barbatos, because I like Barbatos. And then as I was playing with it, I was like, I can't do this. I can't play this melee suit. So then I tried the Gundam, and I was like, I'm not that good with this Gundam either. And then I went to the Pale Rider, and I was like, flip, I don't want to just play Call of Duty. And then I found myself on the gun tank, and that's what I've used since. Like, occasionally I'll switch up and use like New Gundam, but New Gundam didn't come out for a while, you know? Cause see, I was playing the game on PC, so I was playing it before it dropped on consoles and stuff. So I was playing for a minute with that gun tank, you know? I tried the Unicorn, it didn't work out all that well. And the New Gundam is fun, but like I said, it came down the line. And I tried the Hyperion. It's okay. And that's the thing, it's a lot of stuff that's just okay. Nothing's crazy. Nothing's getting you super hyped out here. The only thing out of these newer units that was like super dope to see was the Hyperion's ultimate. The G maneuver. When you did that and you like speared people on the on the map, it was cool. That's fun to see. But other than that, you were just using a lot of functions. That's what the game was. It was a lot of functions. While they called it a Gundam game, it was just another FPS with the Gundam name. You weren't really seeing a ton of cool Gundam stuff happening, you know? And then on top of that, You had a bunch of side suits and grunt suits and stuff. And it just doesn't work when you're working off of a free-to-play game. If this was just a game that people were buying, and then later on they were adding these DLC characters and stuff, that'd be a different story. But this is a free-to-play game. You gotta step it up. You gotta make this stuff worth throwing money on. You gotta get the normies and the whales and stuff that like to spend on gacha games to want to spend on this. And the skins, oh my goodness, those things were horrible. They're like, we want you to pull for these horrible skins. They occasionally would throw in one good one. Like they'd have an alternate for Barbatos that looks like a different form. Wasn't the form that people wanted to see, but you know, it's a different form. You have a prototype version of the Gundam, you know, and that type of stuff. But you have the freaking Zaku 2 with Char's colors scheme. It's cool. But that is not enough to make somebody want to throw a ton of dough at this. Because one of the big problems is the characters are just up for purchase. While that seems like it's a great thing, to a person like me who says, I just want to get the character. But to the company and trying to make money, it's not. You need to throw your character in a dang gacha. You know how much more money they probably would have made had they like dropped a dope Gundam? And while you could still purchase it with your money, you had like the option to just draw it in the gacha. Because, you know, gambling addicts are a thing. And there are a ton of people that would spend in that gacha trying to pull this instead of just spending money to buy the character. It's hard to believe, but it is true. Like, see, because here's the thing. You would just make it to where unlocking the character would take the in-game currency that you could earn, right? Or they could be unlocked through the gacha. And boom, there you go. People would start spending money. But instead, they had the characters purchasable because they're trying to do like an esports thing at the same time too. And for esports, you have to have the characters available for them to just buy for their tournaments and junk. So there's that too. It was just, it was a bad recipe here, man. Like that's all there is to it. It was bad. Like, cause Gundam is not the best thing for this type of genre of gacha. Because the way they were doing it, you would have to have like extra dope skins to put on these Gundams. And the problem is, with Gundams, unless you're going to change the whole machine, there aren't a lot of ways you can do these skins. Outside of what they were doing, which was freaking colors. And people just don't want to spend money on colors like that. Sorry, it's factual. People ain't trying to just get these other bootleg colors of a Gundam. The whole point of the Gundam is you want it to look like that Gundam. So, only a couple of units had the skins that made them look like other versions of this mobile suit. Which was cool when it happened, but you know, it was so rare that nobody worried about it. So all you would see was just people playing this game with their the little normal to rare value colors. There was the occasional person that had the rare legendary skin or whatever, but it was always the one that you would basically get off of the ticket summons because they would give you these free tickets. So I doubt they were burning money to get those. So that's basically what I'm assuming led to the end of this. I know I've rambled for a while here. I don't know how many people actually sat through this whole thing, but this actually gave me a way to get my feelings about this game off my chest. You know what I'm saying? Because while I complain about it a lot, I did enjoy playing it, and I'll continue to enjoy it for the next couple of months here until it's done. But you know, that's why I have the criticism for it. It's like I was having a pretty fun time running Gun Tank all day and nothing else. That's another thing too, because people can only pick the one unit on a team. So you have to have a lot of interesting units that people could use. And that's just not the case for this game. It's like, oh, well, I use Gun Tank and somebody picked the Gun Tank. What will I use now? It's like flip. And then it's like, oh, I could use the heavy arms, but it still doesn't it doesn't have my rush move. It doesn't have my little rush move from the Gun Tank. I have this flip though. It's just a little sad all around. But in the end, it's kind of what I expected to happen. I knew the game wasn't gonna last too much longer. Just there's no hype. There's no dope stuff to keep it going. And that's how live services work. I hate live services, but when you have a live service, you have to keep it hype. You have to keep it going. You have to keep the good stuff that make people want to spend money on it popping up constantly. And that's just not what this game did. It's unfortunate. Also, freaking Barbatos. Barbatos is the only melee suit that I ever see. Like, there's the occasional Exia that shows up, but it's rare. All you ever see is a Barbatos just popping up. And, I mean, the thing is, there aren't a lot of options for people that want to do melee. Because while the Zaku 2 melee is called Zaku 2 melee, it's not exactly used for that purpose all the time, you know? It has the freaking blade. I don't even know what you would call that. The blade beam that it shoots off whenever it swings. So people aren't actually just up on you like that. Barbatos, however, is just in your face. Or rather hitting you in the back, not in your face, because if you see it coming, you can stop it. But it was pretty much the only suit that they really had like that. Which means all Barbatos players are pretty much just playing Barbatos, and if they don't have Barbatos, that's probably the person who quit on your team. Oh, goodness. But anywho, I went on about this for long enough. It was a good run. I had fun. And they say they have 2 more units that they're going to drop with 2 more maps, I believe they said. So that'll be interesting to see. And let's go ahead and ride this out until the end. Oh, and wait, before I go, one more thing. Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2 is also a free-to-play gacha game. But guess what? The gacha has mobile suits and weapons. That's how you do it. Mobile suits and weapons. That's what people need to be pulling on. If you're gonna have this going, you know? Because Gundam is just, it's not like the other games in this genre. Overwatch can have a ton of weird skins. But Gundams, the identity of your Gundam is in the design of the Gundam. So when you start trying to make weird skins for it, it just doesn't work. So it's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. It's done. Also, they say they're gonna stop selling the currency in game and stuff and make it easier for people to unlock these suits for the remainder of the time. But yeah, that's it. Gundam Evolution has come to an end. And you know what? I think I'm starting doing some videos of that over here to add to the content on this channel. And maybe I'll like put up the streams that I do on the other channel over here, just so we can have content shown of this game before it dies. Oh flip, wait, it's already dead. Before it's officially dead. Anywho, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out and have a great day.